agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Approval of minutes from June 9th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from June 9th. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Item number 1, approve Landis improvement plan. And this is a requirement of IDALS, which is the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship, to come to the board. If you would like to come up, turn the microphone on and introduce yourself.
One of them is if you turn it on.
Just hold it down for.
There it is.
There you go. Check how it's right. Well, first of all, thanks for allowing me to come and talk to you today. One of our requirements.
What's your name? I'm sorry.
Sorry, name is Casey Harkett, and I am with Lewis. I'm in charge of basically my title is project lead, so any new construction, I'm usually the one that oversees it, make sure that it's getting purchased, bought, and then of course completed. So that's my role, my title. So basically what we're doing, Iowa Department of Ag and Land Stewardship requires us to come and talk to the board of supervisors or the city council in order to get approval to build a new facility on this property that we own. Whether it's within city limits, obviously it would be city council or county, it would be the board of supervisors. So in this instance, we currently have a 30,000 gallon hydrogen ammonia tank that is currently active. So the supervisors that we fill our energy tanks with in the city of Templeton. It's just actually it's attached to the north side of our crane facility in Templeton. And it's just basically got to a point where it's in. It's very hard to access. A lot of our farmers don't buy hydrants from us because of how slow it is to take the fill nurse tanks out of the facility. And just getting the nurse tanks and trucks in and out of that facility is very tight. Plus, we're also very close to a number of residents. Years past, this was fine. I mean, it was IDALS comes in and obviously they change rules all the time and regulations, and they want to make sure to improve public safety as part of that. And so over the years, because it's been there for so long, it's basically kind of grandfathered in. But seeing our need to continue to grow our business and continue to keep helping and serve our farmers in that area, we know that we need to do something different, both from the safety aspect, but also from the serviceability aspect of it. So we have a current dry fertilizer facility on the west side of town located at 326 Railroad Street, which is in the description that you guys were provided. What we are proposing to do is to basically take that anhydrous facility out of town and move that onto the west side of town, outside of town, city limits, which will put it into the county jurisdiction. So what we're going to do there is we'd like to not only relocate one of those 30,000 gallon tanks that's currently at that site, but also sister it with a second 30,000 gallon tank to have a total capacity of 60,000 gallons on that property. We are going to start with 60,000, and that's what I'm here to get board approval on today. But we do have plans showing the third tank, possibly increasing that. But at that point in time, I will have to come back in front of all of you guys and ask for permission to go ahead and add that additional third.
So will this also have to go before the Board of Adjustment?
That is, I don't know.
I think it would, as far as, because when the fertilizer plant moved out there, that had to go before the Board of Adjustment. But if you're putting it on the existing property.
So that's one of those gray areas. I was actually just talking to Cass County. They're wanting us to go to the Board of Adjustment. Again, I don't know all the proper process and procedures. I just know that IDALS required that I come talk to you specifically.
They're not changing the use though.
But
it's still fertilizer. It still falls underneath our fertilizer permit with the state. So it's kind of all encompassing. And like I said, even the use of the property, I would assume would fall underneath that same ag requirement, or however it's set up with the county here, Carroll. So it's not like we're changing any of the purposes of the facility other than we're adding on another type of fertilizer product.
I think at that time it was done because they changed the uses of the property.
exactly.
They went away.
And I think
It went from ag to, right.
Sustain the same.
and their beings are using that property for fertilizer now, and I think as long as they don't have anything, they're meeting all the guidelines within the distance and stuff, there's not a need for I wouldn't think there'd be a need for the adjustment.
And I've put up about 6 of these over the last year, 2 years. Been to Story County, we did one in Collins, so then to, Humboldt County was up at our Fort Dodge, Humboldt area, we have, 260s there, so. I've been to Boone twice, for different projects, one at their grant facility between Boxell and Dayton. One actually at the Boone facility where we just relocated the tanks, on that same property, so, like I said, that. The only other group was Cass, where they basically said that, hey, they wanted to go back to the Board of Adjustment just to approve it, but. I had already got approval to put a 72,000 gallon on their property, and then I want to add a 90, just because of the amount of product that we go through in the area and covering multiple facilities that we are taking out of service. So, we're not actually taking, like I said, we're not taking out of service anhydrous in the Templeton area. This is again taking that 130 that they're relocating it and then sistering it with them.
I see you've got a septic tank and field you'll have to move.
Yep, and we are, I've got one earthwork contractor that is having dialogue with the county about relocating the field. The tank, we should be out of the way of what we'd like to do with plan, and the drawing that you might see a little bit of a bump or a workaround. I personally would like to relocate the septic field, put it on the south side, and that way we can add a little bit more storage for the nurse tanks in particular. So again, I've got earthwork contractors, I got 2 of them that are bidding the project right now. One of those is, I think I already contacted the county and was kind of had started some of that dialogue about relocating the septic field. But we'll work through that with your sanitation.
People, yep.
Yep. So the couple nice things about this facility is not only are we adding capacity, but we're adding all new everything. So it's all new piping, all new pumps, all new risers and working platforms. We have a trough that we'll be putting in that'll be concrete, so all the pipe will be in the trough and then covered up with steel plates for our trucks and tanks to go over. So the nice thing about that is that if there is any issues, we have access to get to it right away. It's not like we have to mobilize large equipment in to do the excavation to uncover piping. It's kind of one of those things that we're trying to go away from at a lot of our new facilities. So actually,
So all the traffic of refilling the nurse tanks will leave the city limits and then be out on the county road.
And
And we're also, one of the things you see there in the notes too, is that we're actually also putting a truck scale on the site. So therefore, any of our nurse tanks that come into the site, we can weigh it right there empty, we can get it filled, and we can weigh it again before it leaves. So to reduce the amount of any type of cross traffic or taking our nurse tank back into town to get it weighed on our scale there. Everything can be done right there. So.
I couldn't, your dog, and I couldn't blow it up, but you're 450 feet away from the house across the road then,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, that was one of the, I would say.
There were actually 900
requirements by IDOLs, is that we have to be a certain, lineal footage radius away from any public residence. And so we do obviously meet that basement. Yeah.
I couldn't read it, so I didn't know. But
Yeah, you're like actually 939 to the corner of the property and about 1,200 from the house.
so you're good, okay.
We want, again, based on the property too, and we've got a lot of grade changes both on the east and west sides because of slope. Obviously, we'll have a little bit of transition to get down to that area, but and then reworking some of the other grade.
So you plan on putting a scale out there too?
There's just a small little front scale, so it'll just be for the nurse tank. Our truck will pull across it, it'll actually be off the scale, and the nurse tank will just sit on it, and then we'll take the weight and print a ticket. Be on the merry way down the road.
And the resident who lives right across the street was on the Board of Adjustment when they approved the special use permit for the existing place, and he did not abstain. He voted in favor of
And
allowing it.
he's across, like I said, King Park, he's
Yep.
southeast of the property.
Yep. So you're looking for a motion for the board to approve the relocation then of one tank and the addition of one tank.
Yep.
And so if you add a third, will that need additional board approval or are you seeking that today?
Nope, come back.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now, what, we were just busy talking about it as well, internally. And when I say relocate that one tank, it might get relocated to the site, but we also might jockey a couple other tanks around. Those other two will get. So the game plan right now is I've got our All right, Hyders plumbers have a really busy season, right? So I've actually got, I'm working on a couple other projects, one in the landing, and I've got one project, so this is kind of like the third one. So the goal would be is if everything works out right, to have this new facility operational this fall. But we can't make that happen, we would still leave our 30,000 gallon tank down operational this fall with the idea to take it out of service this new spring. So it just depends on timing, because I don't want to lose the opportunity to continue to service our farmers this fall if we can't get the facility completed by hydro season this year. You guys can fight over what date you think hydro season is gonna start, because it's kind of anybody's guess. It's just a matter of timing and
Sure.
weather and temperatures, and so that's the hard part. I mean, last year I think we had 2 good weeks after hydros, or after harvest was done, where it had just got to the right temperature where they could get in the field to get it installed. So but that's why, like I said, I want to make sure you guys understand that this fall that facility will possibly stay operational, with the intent that by next spring it'll be shut down here. New location. But yes, I am looking for your approval on today to be able to move that tank move the facility that's in town out to our west facility and be able to put a total of 60,000 gallons of the hydros out there.
I think we can approve it today, but I think we also need to put in the motion pending Board of Adjustment. They're checking into it to see if it needs a special uses permit or not.
So there's that.
And I don't have that information
here.
right now.
Sarah's here.
Oh, sorry, there you are. I'm sorry, I didn't see you walk in. Would that need a special uses permit on top of, being it's on the same property?
Outside of Arcadia, because it was a special use
Yep.
permit, anytime you're adjusting those or changing those, we would want to take it to Board of Adjustment.
So, okay, so today's motion needs to be then pending, we were given approval pending Board of Adjustment.
Does anybody else
Thank you.
have any questions on there? If
I do.
not- If not, I'll make a motion to approve the land use improvement plan
I'll second that.
pending
Pending.
Board of Adjustments approval.
And it's nice to get it out of town. That's kind of a neat thing too.
I know I've heard that they've been talking about it for
Yeah.
years. Would like to have it. We've got it.
We have a resident here who.
I used to work there. I remember the time we evacuated the town.
Oh, really? Yeah, so. And
That was a scary day.
this is actually the second time that I've heard that Barry Wills with IDOLS, our inspector, for it, has actually been out to that site, to look at it, so it's something that I guess had been in the plans for a number of years, it's just hasn't made the next step, so I'm here hoping.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, both pending Board of Adjustment approval. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you for your next step then will be to apply to the Board of Adjustment.
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Item number 2, utility permits. Zach, I think you have 2 permits for today.
Both of them are for Raccoon Valley. Both of them are electrical services. Just getting across the road, so. First one is. Maple River Township, section 9. On 170th Street. Be just north of Maple River. The second one. Is Grant, section 8. Just northeast of Carroll, so. Nothing special about these, they'll bore the line in like they always have.
Yep.
No. Yes. Nothing special.
It looks
Either
pretty
to
good.
existing or did you say they're new?
They're new, I believe the first one I talked about it, I believe it's gonna be the hospital, it's in. The existing acreage back in there, but they're getting a new access point for that acreage. And then the second one is, there's an existing shop there, but they're looking to build a new house, I didn't see.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the 2 utility permits.
I'll make a motion to approve both utility permits.
Second,
Second.
there's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is drains, 2 of them. I think they're both around Glidden.
Yeah, they're both, basically within the city limits of Glidden, but two different drains. One's, the first one's DD 29. Be about roughly, a block west of the school. Just the tiles running slow or maybe plugged, so we're gonna do some investigation to see what the situation is and what it's gonna take to fix it, so. But, working with the city Glidden on that a little bit as well, and I know there's some utilities in the area as well, so.
So it's like there's like an inlet and right there, how do they know?
There is some tile inlets around there, and I think there's the city that the things aren't flowing the way they should be. So. The second one is south of the tracks, south of the co-op. There's a stub line that runs to the north that is also draining very slowly. So I'm not sure if it's a tree run situation or something else. That
Beaver dam.
Never know.
I don't think there'll be a beaver dam.
Another one
That
that
was the culprit before.
gotta look into as well, so.
And I did ask you on Friday if you assess these, planning on these, and
I didn't double check, I think DD 29, we may have done assessment on
Okay.
that one, or there was money available, the DD 15 one. Just came to light after that, so.
so I'm looking, and these, obviously neither one have been done, so looking for approval to repair these two drains.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. C, department update.
As far as construction goes, HMA projects are complete. All the contractors' work is done. The only thing that we have left to do that's somewhat connected to these projects is north of Letterdale. We have a little bit of first shoulder put on outside of the gravel we put outside the paved shoulder. So there's a little bit there that we do on the east side of it specifically. But other than that, all the work's complete.
Rumble strips are cut, striping's done.
Yeah, things, so I believe everything's been. The contractor's been paid for everything other than retainage on all those projects, so we're sitting in a good spot with those. As far as the bridge goes, the bridge deck got poured, they're working on some of the miscellaneous stuff outside of the bridge. To start working on the approaches and whatnot.
So when's the Topeka Shiner deadline, when they can start doing that?
End of July is. on
Okay.
that. And so we can continue working on in the water or around. So.
And then-
Hopefully we keep working on the other stuff and get most of that done, and when July hits, we can take off running the rest. The main part is dropping the forms for the deck, so they can, the ramp was really just the biggest hurdle with that step, so.
What's an air conditioning cart?
So that's our AC compressor unit that we use to service all of our vehicles. The current one we have is about 22, 23 years old. It's starting to have some issues, so. That's what that is, basically to suck out all the old AC refrigerant and get vacuum on it and or just recharge it. We need to recharge it.
And anything on the two box culverts down south, when they're gonna start on
I
those?
have not heard, but just knowing the time it takes for them to get they got the shop drawings back to us, we approved them, and they have to build those boxes, so. I know that timeline sometimes can be multiple months, so I assume that's kind of what we're waiting on.
Do they have a late date by, do they have to be
There
done
is a-
by October 30th or October 15th?
What it is on top of my head, Scott, if I had to guess, it's kind of September, middle of September.
Okay,
Who's got the contract for that again?
Was that,
Who's got the contract for that?
Progressive Structures? They're out of Eastern Iowa.
They have not done many out here, have they?
They have not done for us. They've done them in the area. I know they worked on having money. They've worked in Western Iowa, but have not done any for Carroll County that I'm aware of.
Have you heard anything back from Maple River at all? I have not. I just didn't know if they said anything to you.
I have, I got
I
my
know
committee
they
reports.
actually met with a contractor, and just had some conversations about that,
Okay.
but nothing official.
Official,
I think they've got a quote and I talked to one of the members on it on Friday.
I did too this weekend.
And I said, make sure they keep you involved. You can't just come out there and hire some guy to come, because they're looking at a 2-inch overlay, they're looking at grant funding. There's a lot of things that they're hoping for.
I think they're wanting to know kind of like minimum specifications, gets what that would look like as far as they can try to keep it equitable for everybody, I guess.
I told them they can't just overlay it. There might be repairs that need done that, yeah,
Well,
anyway, I don't,
I
I
put
would,
that up for our utilities and what tying in the driveways. I mean, there's lots of consistency of widths. There's lots of things that kind of go into all of it, so.
Well, didn't we do a lot of repairs out there last year on,
We did more than we have ever before. I mean, we did some concrete patching, especially in the west side along the cemetery, and then some toward the north end of town as well. On some of the heavier travel portions.
particular, runoff problems, right?
Yeah, I mean, the seal coat, I mean, you generally every 5 to 6 years we do seal coat, and we're getting to that point where it's due to, so whether it's.
do you think it'll be this calendar year or next calendar year? On the seal coat, I know it's in your next
It could-
2-year plan, but I didn't know.
It could be, it definitely could be in this calendar year, potentially next. I don't know yet. We'll see how things fall out there.
Hopefully they keep you in the loop because they've had several brainstorming sessions on
Well, that's.
fundraising.
I do think whatever does go forward, even if there is a plan and funding becomes available, I think it's gonna take time to get that in place. So we still have to maintain what we have and try to keep up with, keeping the service that's there.
But the seal coat you think would happen perhaps this calendar year?
Potentially yet this
Okay.
year, otherwise next summer.
Sorry, I didn't mean to open a can of worms. Just want to know if they called you back.
Well,
Well, they're getting, I mean,
I know, we had a
their
meeting.
wheels are spinning, yeah.
but I think they're looking at a high price versus what, out of their league.
When I think, when they got a quote back, I think reality hit like, how the heck are we gonna come up with
Well-
that much money? Yeah.
Let's like, hey, we've been through this. You know how we've been doing with the sewer system. They don't wanna pay any more for that. How are they
Yep.
gonna expect to take care of this road?
It's-
I mean, let's be frank about it. I mean, yeah, I'd like to see a lot of things done too, but there's only so much money.
It's really hard to find funding for transportation projects like this. I'm not saying they won't, because maybe they will, but that's a hard thing to come up with.
Well, and that's what this party that visited with me said, he told them that also. And there's,
All right.
Thank-
We beat that to death.
One more thing, we did get 12 applications for our open equipment operator positions. So
Holy smokes.
going through the process to go through those, and we start scheduling some interviews, whether it's probably not till next week, but we'll try to keep that ball rolling as well. So.
Good.
Awesome. It's good news.
Yeah, it's a good applicant pool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3, approve payables. The agenda needs updated a little bit. $867,311.90.
From I don't know if you were in here, but that was from a tax on a hotel stay that was not included on our original bill
And a meal.
in a meal.
And a phone bill.
And that was technically it was our last formal bill day of fiscal year 25, but I know there's always some that trickle in afterwards. Okay,
And there you have it.
It's a motion.
gotcha.
The only few questions I had have been answered. The only other one would have been some of the advertising for public health. Do you know anything? I mean, it's kind of getting spendy.
they've been buying a lot of clothing too. With logo clothing. But we technically have no sale to that.
You're right, but you can, Mike, next time, do you want to maybe ask a question? that they have?
Sure can.
Looking for a motion for the 867,311.90.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Approve resolution 2025-016, authorizing sale of surplus radio equipment to Lyon County. 5 units at $2,500 apiece, or a total of $12,500. And we do have Jason here if anybody has any questions. And you have a few more of these that are going to go to another county, I
We do.
think.
So, this thing so this is, what these are in-vehicle repeaters. They were part of our original radio project that we did in 2020. They were, I would say, insurance or a hedge against coverage gaps that the maps showed, when we were showing the coverage maps for Motorola. The coverage in reality ended up being much better than the maps showed, which is a good thing. And so between the sheriff and myself, we made the decision not to install these repeaters because it complicates the use of the radio system for the end user, complicates maintenance, and they really weren't needed anymore based on the coverage footprint. They're even less necessary now because when we did our project, we were the first one in the area. Now every surrounding county around us is using the 6 to some degree. Most of them added towers. Crawford County being the only one that's not on operationally. And so with that bleed over coverage and things, we just benefit from that. It's just really not necessary. They're brand new in box, and Lyon County is interested in 5 of them. And I have another county who has spoken for the rest of them. So I think I have about 17 or 18. So once I get the quantity to them and they approve it, we'll have another resolution probably next month.
So I'm looking for a resolution to approve the sale to Lyon County.
So what were the original cost on these?
The whatever
Those-
that price is, just like 4,000, I think, per unit. We offered them to Lyon County at this price because they no longer have a warranty because they've been sitting on our shelf. I've been trying to hop these things for a part of 5 years and haven't had any bites, so they've been interested. This was fruit that was born out of the meeting I went to up in Northwest Iowa, where I just kind of threw it out there that we had these. And had a couple of counties become interested. So
Do we have extras in case one goes bad of our own? We want to buy one of these.
in service.
We don't have any that in service at all.
We've never used these. because
Okay.
they weren't necessary. What they do is they act as a bridge between the car repeater and the portable. So that the portable isn't on system, it goes through the car.
No.
And our on-street and in-building portable coverage is good enough that we just don't.
So we have no use for them for spares or anything, nothing. Okay.
It was just part of the original ISIX program.
Yeah, it was part of the original design. And it was just to use them just would have been more complicated for everyone involved. And they didn't end up being necessary. They were part of the project as insurance, and we didn't need them and no longer need that coverage. So we
Gotcha.
should.
Nope.
And these counties can use them and it'll help them out. And help
Well,
us
thank you,
out.
Jason,
Yeah,
for
thanks.
getting those sold and having that communication. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve resolution 2025-016, authorizing sale of surplus radio equipment.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, Courtney?
Yes.
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 Thank you,
Thank you,
Jake.
Thank you, Jason.
I want to skip ahead real quick to committee reports, just to Stephanie because of another commitment. So if you want to go.
I got 2 weeks worth, a lot of random driving around, looking at the projects that Secondary Roads has done, and Zach, they've done a really nice job. I also had Region 12, Council of Governments, the Exec Board Council, Jean and Scott, I need to make mention, we need to sit down and talk about the Washington DC trip.
It's in my committee reports.
They mentioned, Jean, if you were not going, they would like me to go. So we need to discuss that at some point. Then there was a lot of conversations about the courthouse and its closure and maybe setting up a different policy, maybe a procedure of how that should take place. And then today, if I am done with the funeral in time, I have a Zoom meeting with Wesco at noon. If I'm able to make it, it's gonna be questionable if we'll be out in time. And I'm leaving in 3 minutes.
Thank you. Any questions for Stephanie? All right, item number 5, approve special class C retail alcohol license, high V RPM car show. The effective, the date is July 18th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve liquor license. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, approve Carroll National Golf Club fireworks display permit, July 4th, rain date, July 5th.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, looks like we have 4 interfund transfers. We can do them one at a time, obviously. Courtney, I have the first one, $30,000 going from general basic to the capital fund.
With an explanation.
Please.
That was the board approved amount that we're moving into the courthouse capital fund projects for future.
Okay,
So moved.
Second.
roll call. I'm sorry, any more discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Okay, the second one is 190,000 from general basic to the ambulance capital fund. Amy? You can, a brief explanation.
Basically, the equipment that we ordered from the new ambulance, we did so early to be able to save about $12,000 to $15,000. So it was actually supposed to be coming in September, October area, but it actually showed up. But either way, it's going to be fiscal year 26 funds and the
Yep.
plan is to pay for it fiscal year 26. That's
Any more discussion on?
When do you expect delivery?
the equipment, such like our black pack model.
Oh, okay. But when's the ambulance expected?
The ambulance isn't going to be here for another.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
13 months out, isn't it, next
Right.
July? Yeah. So do we have a motion to approve the 190,000 from general basic to ambulance capital?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
A second.
We have a motion second. Roll call, please, Courtney?
Yes.
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 Stay there, Jamie. $50,000 from loss to ambulance capital.
That's going to be for the building.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Roll call, Courtney?
And other things go.
Yep.
Issue the
Roof first.
We have a motion and second. Go ahead and roll call.
Yes.
Yep.
Thompson.
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Yes.
Harris,
The last one is $5,500 from general basic fund to environmental health capital fund.
this is a budgeted expenditure. Fund, so. Do it every year.
So move.
Second.
Roll call, Courtney?
Yes.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 8. Stephanie, you made it through all those and you get
You
all signed. Review, approve ambulance building roof bids. You have 3 bids, one from J. Schoen Construction, one from Brinks Exteriors, and one from Houghton Construction. Jamie, if you would like to speak to those.
The safety batteries are being replaced. It's been repaired numerous times. You had a leak around one of the vents that goes on. And as a developer, you before you walk on it, the worst of it is. So I brought this up when we were doing budgets last year. So it's.
This is one of only a few repairs that
Right,
the
this is
building
phase one.
needs.
There's another one on the BX, but I can talk about that a little bit later.
One near your office?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the east side of the building.
I had water. But always, Houghton's came in at 48,350, Brinks came in at 43,780, 45 and, there's no construction to it, but it's 7,000. They are basically apples to apples. Just include adding a 2-foot overhang on the north and south side. That's gonna be for aesthetics and for wire chasing for security cameras and door fobs and stuff and such. Dalton and I have been kind of talking about, as we do these phases, the wiring for the networking system and stuff needs to be replaced, so we're just going to, he's gonna do a lot of that, but, it's just gonna look a lot better. I did check with the city, we were looking at some other phases and, noticed that the building is right on the property line, which was gonna cause an issue with putting the overhang on initially, but ultimately it's been approved.
Property line with the city or?
Right, so.
Okay,
Looking around the building surrounding, and then I talked with Damon on it, the inspector and his home. But, yeah, so this is, like I said, phase 1 needs to be obviously done. It does include the snow guards for, that way the snow doesn't come flying off the road.
You said the roof is, obviously you've been in construction also, but the roof is, weak when you walk on it, right? You said?
So it's nailed. This is probably the original steel to when it was built. I think it was 1950.
Yep.
56, but anyway. When you walk on it, the nails, and actually with the heat, the expansion and the contraction, it's working the nails out.
Okay.
So, and when you walk on it, it makes it even worse.
So is the rafters 8 foot in center or 4 foot in center?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I haven't been up on the end.
I just wonder, when they tear that off, if it's 8 foot on center, I'm assuming you're gonna need a lot more wood probably installed.
To find like bad spots.
Yeah.
It's possible. You don't see, sometimes with that, you start seeing them sway in the middle between the trusses, and I don't see any of that
Okay.
right now. But,
Good.
and then with, shows that he did have initially in there, he was gonna try to reuse the barrier that's on it. For clarification purposes, I did reach out to him and say, hey, can you provide me with a bid specifically for that? So there was no big upcharge at the end. And he said, so
there's no gray area.
if need be.
So I'm looking for a motion. We've got 3 bids to choose from. And Jamie, do you have a preferred one?
I have the show
Which is the lowest?
for 36.
I make a motion to approve shown bid for $36,000.
They're apples to apples. I will second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion on
Ye-
the 3 bids?
Yes, I do have discussion. I would refrain from you guys taking that bid without him removing that. Where it says we will assume, I know it's on his word, but when we will assume the existing sheeting will be reusable, if it needs attention, we may have to adjust the cost. I don't like that language in there, guys, because
I've got documentation for it, but I'll have him send it.
So Courtney, should we push this off till next week, or should the motion include an amended bid for the same price?
But Jamie has to sign this. I would just say, yeah, any removal section, or we can approve it pending getting a new one. And technically the board should be signing this, I think.
Yeah, that's, he discussed it.
So do you want to amend your motion?
I can amend it till we get a pending approval that.
Will you
Jamie-
amend your second?
Yes.
Are you okay with that?
yeah, I'm just saying it's,
No, it's a good call. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not, I wouldn't take a bid if someone said they could up
There's-
the price on it.
Yeah,
That's
got
not,
clarification, not just verbal.
yeah,
I'll definitely tell him that.
Yeah. legal's legal. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's why I got.
and it's in writing.
Yes.
All right, we have a motion, a second. We did discuss, and Jamie is going to get a new remove, yes,
With the amendment in it.
but the price for the price of 36,000 stays the same. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Jamie. Manure management updates. Eason feedlot, section 6, Jackson Township, Greene County, no changes. Brandon Kirkhoff, section 7, Eden Township, no changes. Neil and Mitchell Vanami, section 28, Arcadia Township, no changes. Brady Bell, section 15, Sheridan Township, no changes. Smith Livestock, section 1, Washington Township, crop rotation or optimum yields. Timber Lane, section 6, Glidden Township, added acres, change crop rotation or optimum yields. Connor 1, section 14, Grant Township, change crop rotation or optimum yields. Connor South, section 20, Jasper Township, change crop rotation or optimum yields. Connor North, section 20, Jasper Township, change crop rotation or optimum yields. Meyer 2, section 1, Sheridan Township, change crop rotation or optimum yields. Birch Fork, section 31, Arcadia Township, change crop rotation or optimum yields. JMK Finisher, section 13, Ewald Township, change crop rotation or optimum yields. Alan and Lisa Ashide Home Place, section 7, Roselle Township, no changes. PI 271, section 30, Newton Township, added acres, change crop rotation or optimum yields. PI 287, Finisher, section 24, Glidden Township, no changes. Item number 10 is committee reports. Stephanie already went.
I can go. Monday, I had a child care committee meeting. We discussed some potentials of the St. Anthony thing coming up, what's going on. So there'll be an update to that in the near future. I had a safety meeting on Tuesday, had a DCAT meeting on Wednesday, and then we all set with a conference board on Friday. This week, we're going to have our opioid kickoff meeting, so that $280,000 we have in the bank, we're going to see if we start getting some applications and kick that off. And then I've got paper and radio unless Gene wants to do it today.
No, I just did.
That's all I have.
Okay,
Oh, good.
I'll go next. 2 weeks ago, I did the paper and newspaper. And radio, I should say, paper and newspaper. Thursday, I had a CCGP executive board meeting. And then I also attended a Highway 30 coalition meeting. They basically went through some of the projects that are going on. And they were going to meet with the DOT on the 19th. Then on Tuesday, we were supposed to have CCGP meeting, which I didn't get to because I have full day at the dentist. And then on also that afternoon later on, or the 18th on Wednesday, I signed documents for new opportunities. This Friday, I went and attended the chamber coffee. And at 10 o'clock, I went to, had the Yes Center board meeting that I zoomed into. Things are going great there. They got the ICAP grant for $1,000. They're going to use some shading for the dome, shading fence for the dome. And then they had 12 kids in there that day on Friday, with 8 of them being females.
Any from Carroll County?
No, none. Then, so we averaged 10.74 for the month. So things have been going fairly good up there. Then at noon, attended a conference board meeting here. And then Saturday, I attended the Coon Rapids Trail dedication, which was quite impressive. They had a good crowd there, and it was, even though it was hot, they had it in the right place where it was stayed shady and cool. So, but a lot there to be pretty happy about. Then Tuesday, tomorrow, I have a CCGP additional meeting that I have that I'm going to be zooming in on that. And the rest of the week, or till Thursday, I'll be gone. And then Thursday, I have a new opportunities board meeting.
What's your meeting Tuesday at CCTP, Gene?
It's a special meeting.
Okay, thank you. I was just gonna say I didn't have it on my calendar.
No, it's special.
I'll go. Okay, so I'm going back 2 weeks. Monday, June 9th was Carroll City Council. And then that Tuesday, I met with ambulance director Webcare, discussed the purchase of a new vent. I think Courtney, he talked to you about switching some funds around on that one. Also Tuesday, I talked with Zach and Tony Bading about the concrete pile east of Arcadia. Bading was doing some demolition and wanted to know if they add some material to the pile, and our county engineer said what they were wanting to put on it was okay. Thursday, I did get a call about the shouldering on 140th Street. So I went to the resident's house. By the time I got there, the problem was taken care of, as was the whole street. There was about 7 county trucks up there, the skid loader, doing all the not resident approaches, but the field entrance approaches, which is what the call was about. The conference board meeting was canceled last Thursday. Friday, there was a chamber coffee at Hub 712 for Highway 7130 photography. Saturday, I did talk to the sheriff and the IT director about the outages that our network was experiencing. And Sunday, more conversations with Dalton following up on getting everything back and running. Monday, there was no Board of Supervisors meeting, but I did talk with Dalton and Sheriff Pingree again about concerns that the sheriff had. Monday, I also met with CCGP Director Kimberly Tiefenthaler for about an hour and a half on a bunch of different topics. Tuesday morning was executive board meeting at the recycling center. At noon was CCGP board meeting. Wednesday, more follow-up with the sheriff on IT concerns. Thursday, I went out to roads, looked at payables. Friday, Wittrock Construction and Wittrock Electric Chamber Coffee. Gene was at that one. At noon was the conference board. And then after that, I went over to CCGP for Access DC meeting. And I did meet with Maple River Betterment member about road improvements. I think we've discussed that in length. Saturday, I did go to the ribbon cutting in Coon Rapids for the American Discovery Trail. And Saturday afternoon, evening, I did do a ride along with the sheriff. For this week, tonight, I have City Council, Carroll.
You know, you should add on to mine. I also met with a Maple River person also.
And I think, Mike, you'll be hearing from him.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, we had conservation, and the biggest thing they wanted to tell you is that they were spraying. Part of their claims was $2,700 in spraying, but it was Great Western Park and Swan Lake. They were spraying all the jetties around there for fishing. And they had a bill from Grossman and Sons for $6,000 for excavator work. They did that at Riverside Park in Coon Rapids. They wanted to do it before the trail with the damage on the trail.
Yeah, I saw that.
So those the two big things. And then this last week, on Wednesday, I sat on that Watershed Management Coalition meeting for 3 hours and learned a lot. So yeah, East West Nishnabotna. That's all I have. Thank you.
Where was that at?
It's in Oakland, Iowa.
Okay. Is that part of is that just
East
called,
West
that's the name
Nishnabotna.
of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so any comments from those in attendance? Courtney, next week is a questionable meeting. Okay. I think we approved it with that wording removed was the way.
Pending, okay.
Yeah, I think we approved it. That was in the motion in the second. Okay,
Pending the new quote, but it would be here for. I guess the vice chair could say.
okay.
Oh.
But I was under the understanding we were approving it to go ahead and sign with those changes.
That's what I have.
But so it would need a second approval? Okay, Gotcha.
Read what I found.
all right,
Pending the new quote, so it would be approved.
gotcha. Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn.
Still make the motion to adjourn. You got it.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.